Hello viewers, my name is Abongile Nkwenta from Krisani West District. I'm the subject advisor for services subjects. Welcome to the ECDoE broadcast studio. Today's lesson is about the consumer. I will be covering 3 subtopics back to back for your full understanding. The first topic that I'll be unpacking for you are the taxes. However, before I can unpack today's lesson, I want to highlight few important things that you need to keep in mind when answering this question. This is question 2 of the grade 12 question paper, and it is out of 40 marks. When answering this question, you need to pay attention to the action verbs. Your responses should adhere to the action verb. For example, if the question says you must define the concept, pay attention to the mark allocation. The length of your responses should correspond with the mark allocation. Also, you should master your terminology. You can do this by revising the previous question papers, and also you should adhere to the instructions. For example, if the instruction says you must write in a paragraph format, you should see to it that you adhere or you follow the instructions so that you do not lose marks irresponsibly. Now, let us unpack the first subtopic, which is the taxes. A tax is a fee that is charged by the government on a product, income, or activity. The body that is responsible for the collection of tax is called SARS, South African Revenue Service in full. The function of this body is to collect taxes on behalf of government. What are the uses of tax? The tax is used to provide social and economic programs. Secondly, to facilitate or to provide public services such as clinics, hospitals, universities, and roads, as well as security and defense. Now, let us look at the 2 types of taxes that are paid by South Africans, which is the direct tax and indirect tax. What is the difference between these 2 types of taxes? The direct tax is the tax that includes income and property tax, whereas the indirect tax includes the tax that is hidden in the price of goods and services. Let us unpack the examples of the direct tax. Under direct tax, we have income tax and the property tax. These are the 2 examples of the direct tax. Under income tax, we have 2 examples. The first example is the payee, which is pay as you earn in full. This type of tax is deducted on an employee's monthly remuneration and is paid by people who earn regular or fixed income and is paid on a monthly basis at the time the income is earned. And also the examples include teachers and nurses. Now let us unpack the second type of income tax, which is the provisional tax. The provisional tax, this is a system that applies to taxpayers with irregular income, such as farmers, business owners, and people with income other than their salary. And it is paid twice a year. And now let us look at the second type of the direct tax, which is a property tax. The property tax is a tax that is paid by owners of all kinds of real property, including commercial, industrial, residential, and agricultural property. Now let us look at the second type of the direct tax, which is the property tax. The property tax is the type of tax that is paid by owners of all kinds of real property, including the commercial, agricultural, residential, and industrial property. This tax is set by municipalities based on the market value of the property. and the charge differs from area to area. However, it is based on 1% of the market value, and it is paid monthly or annually to the municipality that uses it to provide services to its communities, services such as water, sanitation, and refuse removal. Indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are taxes that are hidden in the price of goods and services. The first example that I'm going to explain is the VAT, which is the value added tax. The value added tax is a percentage that is added on the specified price of goods and services, and currently is sitting at 15%. All consumers pay the value added tax regardless of their income. We also have items which are exempted from VAT, which are referred to as zero rated items. The examples are the brown bread, eggs, fruit and vegetables, milk and milk products, rice, maize meal. Other examples of indirect tax include excise duty, which is normally referred to as sin tax, and this type of tax is placed on the manufacture and sale of alcohol and tobacco, and the import tax, which is paid when you are importing goods from other countries to South Africa, and licenses, where you have to pay a fee. That fee is a form of tax, and the examples include the driver's license, TV licenses, hunting license, and fishing license. Now, let us fast track to our second subtopic for today's lesson, which is the interest rates. The interest is the cost of borrowing money, and interest rate is the rate at which borrowers pay interest for the money they borrow from lenders. We have what is known as the repo rate and prime interest rate. Let us unpack these two interest rates. The repo rate is used by South African Reserve Bank, to adjust interest rates, and the repo rate is the rate at which the commercial banks can borrow money from the Reserve Bank. And we also have what is known as prime interest rate. The prime interest rate is the rate at which the commercial banks use to determine the interest rate on the loans to their customers. And always remember that the prime interest rate is always higher than the repo rate, because this is how the banks generate their income. Interest rates applicable to different types of credit. We have fixed or variable interest. The fixed interest rate means that the lender can only charge the same interest rate per month throughout the duration of the loan. This basically means that when the repo rate is adjusted up, all the customers that are on a fixed interest rate will not be affected. The variable interest rate, meaning that when the repo rate is adjusted up, all the customers that are on a variable interest rate will be affected negatively. Let us look at the negative impact of interest rate hikes on consumers' trade-offs. Loan and bond repayments become more expensive. It makes goods and services more expensive. Reduced disposable income and consumer spending may also lead to weaker rand, reduced quality of life leading to poverty, and reduction in job creation. Now, let us unpack the last subtopic for today's lesson, which is the inflation. Inflation is the rise in the price of goods and services measured over a specific period, which cause a decline in the purchasing power of money, and the inflation rate is the annual percentage change in the consumer price index. Consumer price index, it measures the changes in the cost of goods and services over a specific period. What is the relationship between consumer price index and inflation rate? The consumer price index is measured by defining a basket of goods and services used by a typical household and then keeping a track of the change in the cost of that basket. When the change over 12 months is expressed in the percentage form, the measurement serves as an accepted yardstick for the inflation rate. What is the effect of inflation? Inflation reduces the purchasing power of income, which basically means that your income will not afford other things. It will only afford the basic needs, and it reduces the purchasing power of savings, increase the cost of living, meaning that the price of goods and services will be expensive, and it will also be expensive to borrow money, and potential of higher interest rates. Let us summarize the key points in our lesson. In today's lesson, we have covered the taxes, the types of taxes that are paid by South Africans. We have covered the interest rates, the different types of interest rates, which is the simple and compound interest. We have covered the difference between the repo rate and the prime interest rate. We have also covered the inflation and the effect of inflation and the relationship between inflation and interest rates. We have come to the end of our lesson. You can leave your question on the comments. Don't forget to leave your name of your school so we can give shout outs. Please share, recommend, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you on our next lesson, and our next lesson will be unpacking food and nutrition. Goodbye.